Welcome to Deepdene. Deepdene is a small suburb east of Melbourne, located 9 kilometres east of Melbourne CBD. Local government, City of Boroondara. In 2016 census, Deepdene had a population of 2,035. Deepdene is one of the expensive areas, mainly because it's surrounded by big, expensive suburbs like Kew, Balwyn, Canterbury. The easiest way to get to and from Deepdene to the city and from the city is actually tram 109. So it's actually along the tram line. So if you go to Box Hill, you'll actually go past Deepdene. Um, Believe it or not, Deepdene has its own post office, which opened in July 1913. It used to have a railway station, but actually closed. It opened in 1891 but closed in 1927. Some schools in Deepdene are Our Lady of Good Counsel and Deepdene Primary School. It also has sports club like Uniting Cricket Club, Deepdene Bears Cricket Club, and also it's a home for Deepdene Tennis Club. Now for some stats from the Bureau of Statistics as of the 2016 census. The male to female ratio is 45.7% compared to female 54.3%. Median age 47. Average children per family 1.9. All private dwellings are 863. Average people per household 2.6. The median weekly household income 1,895. The median monthly mortgage repayments 2,500. The median weekly rent 400, and the average motor vehicles per dwelling 1.7. Very well educated people in Deepdene, 46.6% those who have bachelor degree level and above, compared to the Victorian average of 24.3 and Australian average of 22%. Now, if we scroll down to ancestry, English 22.4% compared to Victoria of 22.6% and Australia 25%. So just about the average. Australian 18.6% compared to Victoria 21.1% and Australia 23.3%. Chinese 15.7 compared to Victoria 4.7 and Australia 3.9%. So just above the Victorian and Australian average for the Chinese community here. Now, country of birth. Australia 65.2% compared to Victoria 64.9 and Australia 66.7. So just about the same average for Victoria and Australia. The other top responses are China 11.3% compared to Victorian average of 2.7 and Australia 2.2. Then Malaysia 2.6% compared to Victorian average of 0.8% and Australian average of 0.6%. The other top responses for language other than English is Mandarin, 13.1% compared to Victorian average of 3.2 and Australian average of 2.5%. In terms of occupation, professionals, 40.6%. There's a lot of professionals compared to the Victorian average of 23.3 and Australian average of 22.2. Then managers 19.2% compared to Victoria of 13.5% and Australia 13%. Then clerical admin workers 12.6% compared to Victoria of 13.3% and Australia of 13.6%. Now in terms of how to get to work, majority of the people still drive, which is 56.8% compared to the Victorian average of 61.8 and Australian average of 61.5. Those who work at home is 8.4% compared to Victoria 4.6% and Australia 4.7%. Tram 6.3% compared to Victoria of 1.9% and Australia 0.5%. Now if we actually scroll down to the dwelling structure, occupied private dwellings 87.8% compared to Victoria 88.3% and Australia 88.8%. And then Dwelling structure. So separate house, 68% compared to the Victorian average of 73.2 and Australian average of 72.9. Semi-detached terrace house or townhouse, 25.5% compared to Victorian average of 14.2 and Australian average of 12.7. Flat or apartment, 6.5 compared to Victorian average of 11.6 and Australian average of 13.9%. Now, number of bedrooms. I can see that the 4 or more bedrooms is the highest one, 42.6% compared to the Victorian average of 28.8 and Australian average of 32.2%. So majority of the houses there are actually big considering the number of bedrooms in the house. Now let's go to tenure. So those who own their places outright is 49.9% compared to Victorian average of 32.3 and Australian average of 31%. So almost 50% of them are actually owning their own house. So own with a mortgage, 23.4% compared to Victorian average of 35.3 and Australian average of 34.5%. Those who rent, 20.2 compared to Victorian average of 28.7 and Australian average of 13.9. So, it looks like most of the people here own their own houses, though they're quite wealthy. And yeah, so there's only less people who actually rent here because it's less than the average in Victoria and Australia. I would personally live here maybe when I want to, when I'm ready to raise kids, raise a family. But as a single person, I would probably prefer to live somewhere where there's more things happening, like there's more variety of cafes, pubs, restaurants. But because it's a small suburb, there's not a lot of cafes and restaurants that you can choose from. So in terms of convenience, it's not really a place I would live because it's this, as I said, there's not a lot of variety in terms of shops and things you can go. So I'd probably prefer somewhere Fitzroy or Brunswick, where it's close to the city and there's a lot of choices in terms of brands places. But it's a good suburb to live in terms of raising a family. That's it, guys. Enjoy the rest of the video.